What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. The time has finally come. I am so happy and very blessed to have gotten my hands on an early screener of Zack Snyder's Justice League, the ultimate director's cut. A director's cut I honestly, genuinely never thought would happen. I was definitely not part of the entire fan movement of release the Snyder cut. You know, I always hoped that it would happen. I definitely kept a positive mentality about it, but it just seemed like a stretch. You know, it just seemed like something that wasn't gonna happen, especially as the years continued to go on. And before I get too far into this, I do want to let you guys know there will be no spoilers here, even though if you've seen the 2017 theatrical cut of this film, you have seen, you know, the bone structure of this movie, maybe without its legs and maybe missing an arm. But yeah, don't worry, no spoilers as far as what's new in this film, which is quite a lot. For anybody who does not know what this is all about, Zack Snyder's Justice League is a director's cut, Zack Snyder's cut, the Snyder cut of Justice League, a film he was working on to come out in 2017. And then there ended up being this very tragic situation in his life where his daughter committed suicide, and he ended up having to step away from the project. Joss Whedon came in, who was the director of the first two Avengers films, and he kind of came in and changed things up, took some studio notes, and was kind of forced to make a movie that, in this case, is 4 hours into a movie that literally, with credits, is an hour and 59 minutes. I have always felt like that is a travesty, just straight up heresy, to have the first ever Justice League live action film be literally right under 2 hours. It's easily something that should be over 2 hours. And, you know, then there's a bunch of other stuff that's come out about Joss Whedon being kind of abusive to the cast on set, and not kind of abusive, pretty abusive, or abusive. And there was a lot of different things as far as the studio kind of interfering, and again, like I mentioned before, like the length of the film and just kind of really interfering with the vision of the film. They wanted it to be a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more, I guess you could say, Marvel-like. You know, Marvel has an aesthetic, a feel, a vibe that works for those characters and that world. And DC's always kind of had, you know, a cheesier side to them, but they've always dipped their toes in darkness. And I think really what matters here is that Zack Snyder set up a universe with Man of Steel and then Batman versus Superman, and then, you know, he was trying to make what was really meant to be the culmination of those two films prior. Now, we've gotten tons of different films from tons of different filmmakers that have shown this universe in different ways. But I was so excited to go into the Snyder cut, and I was really excited to be able to see it early. So what were my thoughts on it? Well, it was pretty epic. I really had a great time with this, and I have to say this is probably my favorite in the DCU now, with Wonder Woman being right behind it. Zack Snyder really did his thing here, and, you know, watching the movie, I just couldn't help but feel like, wow, it is insane. That's just so insane how much they chopped out of this movie and released in theaters a few years ago. Now, I did do a review for the 2017 theatrical cut before we even knew that this was officially going to be happening. It was one of the earlier reviews on my channel. For anybody who's interested, you can find that there on my channel. And yeah, I'll be completely honest, I enjoyed the movie. I wasn't crazy about it. It wasn't, you know, some Avengers level just epicness. It wasn't the Justice League movie I always dreamed it would be, but it was cool. It was fun. It had some great action at times, and I enjoyed the visuals, and I just enjoyed seeing these characters. You have really great actors and actresses in the film who are giving really great performances. And so that other film, though it wasn't amazing for me, it kind of reminded me of one of just the good, fun to watch animated Justice League films, where you as an audience member are kind of coming in already with usually some, you know, preset knowledge, some knowledge you already come into these movies with about these characters in that world, so you can kind of fill in the gaps. That's kind of how I felt about that 2017 Justice League movie. Now, for this universe and this iteration of these characters, there definitely needed to be a fleshing out of a lot of characters that had almost no screen time and no development in that film, and were essentially introduced in that film properly. And those are characters like Aquaman and Cyborg and Flash. They just were characters that were not in any way, shape, or form developed leading up to that point, and that was really the first film that they actually had a lot of screen time. And it just, looking back at it and realizing that it was an hour and 59 minutes, though I still stand by my opinion that the film is fine. Like, I think if that was the movie we still had, I definitely don't lean into the hate that people have. this movie, without a doubt, is far superior. I had such a great time watching this movie from beginning to end. It did not feel like 4 hours. Now, I've had some people tell me that it felt like a 2-hour movie. I would say it definitely felt closer to 3, but the pacing is so well done. I never felt bored watching this. Now, there are a couple things, no doubt, in a 4-hour movie that are going to make you think, did that really need to be there? Did that random character need to be here? Did this need to happen? Did this scene that's kind of going on for a long time need to be this long? The answer for some of those was no, but I think what I really enjoyed about watching this was just being able to see Zack Snyder's vision and see a culmination of these characters that really does play off of Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman really, really well. Batman v Superman is one that I'm so conflicted on. I did an early review for that as well, and I love so much about the movie. It's got some great action, great visuals, great performances, and a lot of the story beats I really enjoyed, but there was so much jam-packed into that movie to set up future things that I just never really fully loved that movie from beginning to end. And now this movie has kind of retroactively made me enjoy Batman vs. Superman a lot more, giving us a lot more connective tissue to that. This movie did a really good job of answering questions while also kind of, giving us some new questions, asking us some new questions to kind of ponder moving into the next phase of what this franchise will be. Apparently, Zack Snyder is not going to be working on any other DC films after this, and I can understand with everything that's happened, but I really hope after watching this and the way that they kind of left it wide open for more storytelling that Zack Snyder does get back in that director's chair and does get back to writing for this franchise, because I really thoroughly enjoyed this film. It is just epic from beginning to end, beautiful cinematography with some great action, some great visuals. Now, there are some visuals that without a doubt, because of the kind of movie it is and the fact that there was so much that wasn't finished and so many digital effects that needed to be added into the movie, there are a couple shots and a couple moments in the film where some of the CG isn't as polished as some other parts of the movie. There are elements of the film visually that kind of look like a really good video game cutscene, but that never really took me out of it in any way, shape, or form. It all feels consistent in tone and feel and vibe. I really thoroughly enjoy the performances. Like I said, that wasn't a problem in the last movie. It just really gave these actors the opportunity to shine this time around. And really, the thing I loved the most was the amount of time we really spend with these characters. When you watch that 2017 theatrical cut, it just kind of jumping around. It doesn't really have like a cohesive narrative. It has a narrative you can follow from beginning to end, but things are so rushed and you kind of have to use some of the context set up and, kind of fill in the holes. But being able to watch this 4-hour cut and see the entirety of that original cut throughout this movie and how much they spliced between certain scenes, before certain scenes, after certain scenes, it's insane how much they cut out of the movie that was crucial to the storytelling. One of the biggest parts of this movie for me was Cyborg. He's a character I'm hearing a lot of people talk about who have seen the movie already. He is such a huge part of the movie. And this 110% really proves that there was obviously some sort of issues with Joss Whedon and Ray Fisher. He's been speaking about it very publicly, Ray Fisher being the guy who plays Cyborg. He's been speaking about it very publicly about the abuse that he, kind of had to deal with Joss Whedon on set. And it's clear Joss Whedon did everything in his power to cut his story out of the movie. And it is one of the most emotional parts of the movie. It's essentially almost like the heart of the movie, the core of the movie in a lot of ways. And I really thoroughly enjoy the way that we get to spend time with these characters, the time we get to spend with them that really develops them. And by the time that they do team up at the end, it doesn't just feel kind of rushed like it did in that theatrical cut. It really feels natural. It feels like it feels earned. It feels like we should be on this journey with these characters. I was never bored watching this, even in the sequences that I was able to kind of, objectively say, I feel like maybe this could have been a little bit shorter, or maybe we didn't need this scene. Even now thinking about the movie, because I just watched it, there are a couple moments that I'm like, oh, why did we have that in the movie? But it is a 4-hour movie, there's going to be moments like that for everyone. But as far as the action, the character development, and the story, it's just night and day. This movie is entirely different than the last movie we got, but how can you be surprised? The movie is 2 hours longer, and there are so many sequences that played out in the other one that in this one play out similarly but quite different. I really enjoyed the way that Zack Snyder was able to make this vision his own, really make it something that's cohesive with the other two films that came before this, or that were initially had come before this, with Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. Great action, great visuals, great performances, really emotional, great moments. I really thoroughly enjoyed the score as well. There was a lot of different kind of music throughout the film that really just, again, just leaned into the engagement of the film, that really just amped up the excitement and the intensity. And there were some really great cameos from various characters from other DCEU films that we've gotten thus far. A lot of the films that we've gotten after this movie came out, or I'm talking about the original cut of this movie, for the individual characters, we get to see some of these other actors and characters reprise their role. One of the most notable ones that has already been released, so this isn't a spoiler, they've already talked about this and released images, is Jared Leto as the Joker. And it's a very brief moment that he's in the movie, but I really thoroughly enjoyed his brief moment. He's kind of doing a different take on the character. I feel like he's, maybe taking some criticism and is trying to do something a little bit different, but it's still very similar to what he did in Suicide Squad. But I enjoyed his performance here, and I enjoyed seeing him amongst these other characters. Another thing that was really cool about this movie is I forgot that it was rated R, and they don't run with that. They don't really take it over the top, because this movie doesn't need that. But there's definitely some blood and some violent moments and some F-bombs dropped, and it never feels overused. But yeah, it was definitely a bunch of moments where I was like, oh damn, like with some of the action, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. So yeah, guys, I don't want to get into spoilers. If you guys are interested in me maybe doing some sort of spoiler live stream or something like that later in the week, once you guys have had a chance to check it out, I would definitely love to do something like that. But for now, yeah, really love this movie. I think that Zack Snyder's Justice League, for me, has to be my personal favorite in the current line of DCEU films. I think if you are a fan of comic book movies, if you're a fan of the Justice League and these characters, the DC comic book characters, and you still don't like this movie, then I don't know what's going to please you. I think there's so much done really well in this movie that really honored these characters, honored the legacy, and really played off of Batman vs. Superman that, again, for me, retroactively kind of made me appreciate that movie a lot more. Overall, Justice League, really great time, or Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut. This is a movie I definitely look forward to watching again at some point. I'm not ready to jump straight back into 4 hours again, but man, it's going to be on my mind for quite some time. And the next time I watch it, I very much look forward to picking up on things that I may not remember, or little things that I may not have noticed last time. So yeah, there's a couple things here and there that I felt could have been trimmed out. There's some things about it that aren't perfect, but the music, the visuals, the acting, the overall action, and everything about this film on a visual level, a feel level, and just the you can feel the heart. You can feel the heart in the movie. I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place, but I just saw the movie. It's 3 in the morning right now, and I just genuinely enjoyed it. So a big thanks to Warner Brothers for sending me an early screener for this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys enjoy it when you guys get to check it out. For those of you who also got early screeners and got to check it out early and you're checking out my review, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Based on a lot of the Twitter reactions I've seen from some of my peers in the movie game here, it seems like everybody's really enjoying this thing. And yeah, I gotta say, this is a really fun and really well-made movie that really honors these characters and honors the continuity of this story, and really just gives us an epic story, a director's cut like none other. So Zack Snyder's The Justice League. Definitely want to hear what you guys have to say, whether you've seen it or not seen it. Leave those comments down below. Hit that like button down below if you guys enjoyed the video. Helps the channel out. Subscribe for more videos if you guys are interested, and I'll see you guys in the next one, all right? Bye-bye.